Women of the world rejoiced at the announcement of Wonder Woman and Batman v Superman, finally a female superhero girls can look up to. It's like we opened up the sausage factory to include a fish market, if you know what I'm saying. There was a lot more riding on this movie than the fate of women's cosplay choices. The shoddily designed edifice that is the DCEU was ritually sacrificing small rodents to the gods of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in hopes that they could finally bust out a film that fans didn't universally revile. I'm happy to say that they pulled it off, and not a moment too soon. It's like they learned from their previous clusterfucks what to actually focus on, a story, as in singular. Wonder Woman follows Wonder Woman doing wonderfully wondrous things in the most Zack Snydery way possible. It's a story about an entertainingly naive Greco-Roman warrior in a classic fish-out-of-water scenario. She sets out to find Ares, who she believes is responsible for World War I, and that's it. Sure, she has her pitifully mortal bandmates. There's Captain Kirk and his above-average penis, Captain Fez, and the Irish dude with PTSD. Oh, and we finally found out what happened to the chief at the end of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But they're ancillary at best. You only care about them to the extent that you need to, and it's back to our lead character murdering Germans. Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad were more bloated than a fat man digesting Chipotle. It seemed like a contest of people trying to one-up each other. Look at me, I have a grappling hook. Well, bitch, I fly.
Well, I have the power to create good movies. So suck it.
You could make the argument that Man of Steel is narrowly focused, and you'd be right. I liked it despite the blatant Jesus metaphor. Sure, that movie could have used a little trim around the edges, although they'd have to work harder to make Russell Crowe relevant, but at least it showed you who to look at and kept the universe building to a minimum. I could probably go further about what was good about this movie, but I do have my gripes with it, and for the most part it can be summed up in a word: slow motion. Okay, that's 2 words, fight me. Despite not taking the helm in this one, this movie is clearly cut from the same mold as its predecessors. Dark color palettes, ridiculously crazy fight moves, and slow motion. I can forgive the first two. I've enjoyed the era of gritty reboots where we turn everything fun into a moody melodrama, and nothing says I can kick your ass like being able to gyrate aimlessly in the air before ramming your heel into the jaw of a faceless henchman. But slow motion needs to end. This trick has been beaten to death at this point. I remember enjoying it when I first saw it in The Matrix, and it made Max Payne a hell of a lot more satisfying, but I've never been a fan of seeing it for nothing more than an aesthetic trope. At least in The Matrix it served a purpose. Well, the first one I should say. Now it's just there so we can chuckle at the poor henchman shitting himself. And perhaps it worked at Snyder's 300, but it really is a one-off. And the more I see it, the more it ruins the experience of seeing a roided-up alpha male, or female, shoving their shiny boot up a Nazi's ass. Yes, I know they're not Nazis. Also, Gal Gadot is too hot. Yes, I'm being nitpicky here, but there is no way she could fight like that and still be a shoo-in for Miss Israel. The entire movie, I couldn't help praying this woman would flog me or pour hot wax on my nipples, and I'm not okay with that. She takes on the entire German army, and she still looks like she's posing for a Garnier Fructis commercial. It's like the thin mascarans don't have sweat glands. It kinda reminds me of the Schumacher Batmans, where they would get the living shit kicked out of them, and they'd walk it off without a dent in the bat nipples. If there is one complaint I have about the writing, it's the very end. Could you get any cheesier? I know that superhero movies do this time and again, but the final part of this movie was more nauseating than I should be expected to take. You ever watch something that tried to lay on the cheese so thickly it made you want to do something evil? This is that movie, and I'm sad to say my cat no longer has a head. Is there anything else I can say about this movie? Not really. It does play some failed misdirection, although I can't help thinking it failed because I knew what to look for. It's not a complicated film with a deep message, and it's a blatant example of corporate movie making. Still, it has something for everyone. Action junkies, writing enthusiasts, your feminist girlfriend who marvels at how far women have come, or your anti-feminist boyfriend who will set women back a few decades after you have sex with them that night.